All right, so next up is Apple TV. Am I correct? That was the next.
Yep.
And I have an intimate relationship with Apple TV. So
you use it.
I use it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have it on my main TV at home. And I have been somewhat critical of it in the past here on this channel, particularly around the way in which you interface with it.
Yeah.
I don't find voice to be as effective as on certain Google products. However, I like certain AirPlay aspects and things about the Apple TV that have made it convenient on the main TV in my house. The other thing that's drove me absolute banana town in the past has been the remote, which I probably covered it too many times here on the channel. They redid the remote.
Yes.
They redid.
Good on them.
We knew they were going to do it. The rumor was they were going to do it. And they just got rid of that dumb, swipey top portion, nightmare fest, nightmare fuel. Ruined many a good time. You're just having a party. Somebody picks it up. They swipe, they tap. Party over.
This was the old
Inadvertent.
No, this is the old.
That's the nightmare fuel. Yeah. And I love the simplicity of it, the look of it, but it just didn't work like that. It just didn't work how it was supposed to. Or not how it was supposed to. I mean, it did have a touchpad on it. It just, I don't know, it never translated to the TV.
Yeah, you said it was too small.
Well, no, that's the secondary subject. But just the touchpad, scrubbing along and trying to have precision with it and not trying to have unintended inputs. Now, I will say, you can figure it out as a person on Earth. But I got youngsters in my house. I got people in my house.
Sure.
And to watch everybody navigate the thing that isn't you and to see the lag factory as a consequence, trying to find a certain spot on the timeline or pause it by tapping the thing on the exact spot without it dislodging ever so slightly every time to a different spot in the show will be such a frustrating experience. I'm ranting and raving.
Yes,
I'm foaming at the mouth.
About the new.
I'm foaming at the mouth over here, but obviously I had to hit you with the recap. The new is way better. It's almost like an iPod style interface with a nice little wheel along the top. And I already watched. It's a jog wheel. It is so genius. Are you going to just scroll forever here, Will? I think you could have just stopped earlier up.
I'm telling you.
You're not going to get a full... There you go. Holy cow. The slowest scroll. That was a marathon scroll right there. It is a jog wheel. My God. I never knew how much I wanted a jog wheel.
It's also a universal remote, or it acts like it. It turns on your TV as well, right?
Yeah, the old one did that too.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, the old one did that too.
Then why did they...
Well, because they just want to remind you, Will.
Oh.
They just want to remind you.
Okay.
But now it's a jog wheel, so you scrub through what you're playing just by simply rolling around. And it reminds me of iPod in the olden days, because I'm 78 years old.
Yes.
And there was not that. It's for certain things, like moving through a timeline, there's really not many better ways to do it with your thumb than a jog wheel. They changed the color of it. It's aluminum now. They moved the microphone over to the side. You get a nice dedicated power switch up there. Play, pause, volume is on there. It's still very basic. You're still going to lose it. I'm still going to have to put some case or wristband on it in my house. You people can probably deal with it.
And how do you charge it? Does it?
It previously was Lightning. I presume it's the same. I don't know. Did they put a Type-C? Press the tech specs so we can be certain here. It got a little taller too, so it should be a little bit easier to hang on to. Yeah, 5.4 inches tall. Let's see, Bluetooth 5.0, IR transmitter. That's for TV as well. Microphone, of course. USB to computer or power adapter sold separately. I'm going to presume it's still Lightning. USB-C would be nice. I'm going to presume it's still Lightning. Let's talk a little bit more about Apple TV, though, because it's not just about the remote. 4K, couple pixels, HDR is in there as well. And they put out a nifty, and that's the right word for it, a nifty little color calibrator straight from your phone. Oh, how are you going to do it? How am I going to calibrate my TV? Get an iPhone. get an iPhone. Now, I'm one of these people, I've been editing videos for a while, and I've seen calibration devices, standalone color calibration devices for monitors in the past. And this is an expensive object that really just does one thing. So to see Apple's consumer version of it, and I don't know how well it's going to work, but it's an interesting angle for individuals who have previously not tweaked their TVs at all. Here's the way it works. You take your phone, you initiate the app, you hold it up to your display with the Apple TV turned on. It will have a little cutout section where you would hold the phone up to it. We'll use the sensors on the phone in order to read the display itself and make the adjustments necessary without, by the way, needing to dive into the TV's interface, which can be a nightmare and has been in the past, dealing with these TV interfaces. So the actual picture mods are happening on the Apple TV itself. Now, this is not going to be useful to you if you switch to some other input. That's what's a bit odd about it, as opposed to tweaking your TV directly, which would then affect your game consoles and if you happen to have other things plugged in. So, but either way, it appears to be an improvement. Many people will never, ever calibrate their TVs and find a color balance. And so to get more people involved in that, to see a better picture, I kind of like that. Some people, you go over to your friend's house, they got the thing on blast, vivid mode, full contrast, your retinas are burning.
Isn't that the best, though?
Maybe. That's what they do in the store to try to get you to buy the actual display as well, right? But this is just an interesting way that they did it, and I kind of like the space effect. I mean, they made it kind of fun to do it, too.
Sure, yeah.
In a way that maybe more people will get involved, as I suggested previously. So yeah, 4K HDR, it looks better in every way. Airplay got an improvement as well with the HDR functionality. 179, 199, 64 gig or 32 gig, I believe. Oh, by the way, all this stuff, the vast majority of it is available second half of May, and you're ordering at the end of April in most cases. So it's still an expensive streaming box, but some of those integrations with other Apple products are what makes it special, and I'm happy to see at least a remote improvement over there.